Welcome to another episode of Take Up Space. Today in the studio, we have someone really, really special. Before I say her name, I'm going to list off a long list of her accomplishments. A social entrepreneur, an activist, a community leader. She spent her career mostly representing the underrepresented families and children navigating the CPS system. She has a master's in clinical psychology and counseling. She's also founded the Color Me Safe firm, which is a crisis management firm focusing on child welfare, but also it has a nonprofit arm, so the Color Me Safe Foundation, which focuses on education, prevention, advocacy, mental health, domestic violence, and all kinds of things, and a lot other things. So I'm just going to pause here because it'll take up the whole episode in the intro.
I'm sorry.
So her name is, and I've been practicing this, Gauthami Vemula-Queijo. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Absolutely. This is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I really want to spend the hour getting to know you deeper, but also like your work deeper, what motivates you, what keeps you going, because the work I just listed off is intense. It is so much.
It's a lot. I've seen a lot in this lifetime.
You must have seen a lot.
Yeah. And that's why whatever happens in the world these days, it's like, yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Right. Like there's a sense of like immunity to it, right?
Yeah.
When you've seen so much. I mean, I haven't been in the space as long as you, but as a therapist, even then, like even hearing trauma after trauma after trauma, there is a sense of like, I don't jolt as much anytime I hear something, which is heartbreaking.
And I think the beauty of being in this space is you become immune to it, like you said, but you don't lose compassion.
Love that. The thread of compassion gets stronger and stronger. And I think that that ability to not jolt is almost a gift, right? Because if we do jolt or if we break apart and someone else is breaking, we miss the opportunity to heal and to connect.
That's right.
What a kickoff. I didn't even think we were going to go there. Okay. Before I start with my questions for you, I have to put this out there. I have had a long-term pickle with CPS.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So as a therapist, I have to call, CPS, Child Protective Services, as a mandated reporter within a certain number of hours anytime someone tells me something that is going wrong, right? A minor, if I'm informed of a minor being abused in any kind of way. Unfortunately, I've been in these circumstances where I'm calling CPS to report abuse of a minor, and CPS's first chess move is to call the parents. And I get that. I do. But what if those parents are the ones that are a part of that system and it only makes things harder, right?
Yeah. And this is not the first time I'm hearing this.
Okay. Yeah. And honestly, the worst case I've heard is like, I'll do that whole thing reluctantly because I know they're going to call the parents. And they do. And then things at home get worse. And the next thing you know, that child is in like an even worse situation. And this has happened to me. And many times where I'm like, oh my God, like I can't stand this, you know?
You want to pull your hair and your hair follicles out when you hear about something like this, because here you're trying to do your best to protect this child from further risk of abuse and neglect. And from a policy and procedure point, you're supposed to interview the child away from the alleged perpetrator. Why? Because most likely you'll get a little bit more information. You never want to put that child at further risk of abuse and neglect. We're actually dealing with a case right now through Color Me Safe Foundation where that's exactly what's happening. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world. Why would you do that? That is not part of policy.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think, and the other pickle I have in the same vein of things, and so I guess I expect systems and structures like CPS to be aware of that very thing. Yeah. Or, and for me personally, I've been a child who has had CPS involved in my own life. And that time, whatever the circumstance was that made that call, my point here is that I got separated from my parents for like 6 months. And
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I think it's not so much of the fact that all that has happened. I've obviously like processed through a lot of it. My concern is the impact you have on a child, depending on where they're at in their journey, especially in their like formative years before they're an adult, makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference to their life, the way they see the world, the way they feel safe. And when you rupture like attachments like that, so in some cases, maybe they need to be away from the parents because it's that dangerous. And in some cases, it was poorly investigated and then they just are away.
Yeah.
That rupture in attachment, that rupture in connection also has like a lifelong impact, right? And so I come to you with this whole conversation so like personally, professionally impacted. And I love that I get the opportunity to talk to you because the way I see it, there's just too many gaps. Like there's a lot of gaps in the process and in the system.
And it's a systemic failure. And what's a system? Well, a system is developed by a group of people. And when a group of people don't agree on the same level and have contrasting opinions and stuff, the system fails. So this system particularly, and this is my personal opinion, I can say this off the record because I'm no longer at CPS.
Nice.
But there's a huge systemic failure.
Yeah.
They focus on marginalized communities, and there are so many disparities, inequalities, inequities, and pitfalls within this system. If I had the power, I would like completely destroy it and build it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, who gets targeted? It's marginalized communities.
Right.
Families that are lower on the socioeconomic ladder, families that are immigrants, families that don't speak the language, families who are probably less educated, and you can clearly see that contrasting difference.
Yeah. And why do you think that is that focus goes inwards too?
It comes down to administration, training. When I started working at Child Protective Services back in 2002, it was very social worky, which I loved. It was focused more on quality versus quantity. And I'm not sure if you know this, but for every investigation, you get federal dollars for this.
No, that makes a big difference.
There are cases out there that shouldn't even be investigated. They don't even meet the definition of what abuse and neglect. Let's take poverty and neglect. There's a fine line between that. I may have the resources to put a piece of bread, jam, and peanut butter, or maybe just a quick $1 hamburger, right? But my children are being fed. But I live in a car or I live in a motel room. I'm sorry, that's not abuse.
Right.
You're using and you're doing the best of your ability. It's a lack of resources. And the job of CPS is to investigate what abuse and neglect is, not what poverty is. And if you feel like they're on the risk, it's on the risk of abuse and neglect, then why don't you help them?
Right.
Why do you want to take and remove their children away?
Yeah. And you're informing me right now that there's a component of getting like federal dollars and there's an incentive to identifying as many. Wow.
Feel
very good.
When I was a department head, with my own team, I try to do what I can to protect them, from a lot of cases, because there's overturn is crazy over there. Their investigators are there for a short while and they're gone. You go through the 6 to 12 week academy and, what do you hire? You're not hiring people with backgrounds in psychology, human development, and social work. When I was there, you were hiring people that worked at the bank. You worked,
so completely
different. What are they going to know? So guess what? They're going to get paid to stay in the academy and fill that seat. And when they get another job, they're going to get up and leave. And all those cases that are uninvestigated, that's going to go to another person, creating burnout. How can we take care of other families when we can't take care of ourselves?
Yeah, so true. Such a good point right off the bat. And I mean, it really speaks to the question I was going to ask you, which was like, in all this, like, all the times that you were a CPS investigator, what was the moment or moments that you were like, this isn't working and something needs to change? Because given all your years of work beyond that now.
Right. I think there were always glimmers that, okay, something is not right here. My first case out of the CPS Academy, I'm a baby worker. I moved to Texas and I was a therapist prior to that. So seeing that was really traumatic for me. My first case out of the academy was a 3-year-old who got raped by 3 different men.
Wow.
It almost destroyed me. It was so devastating. And I was living at home at that time and my parents were like, why don't you quit and do something else, but I knew to get justice for that child, I knew I had to stay. So that 1 month out of the academy turned into 10.5 years.
Wow.
So throughout.
Oh, this work is really not for everyone, though, because that moment could have broke you to the point where you shut down and completely like opt out of the process. But here we are. We have you.
It's crazy because to me, any crime committed against a child goes against every promise we made to humanity.
Yeah.
So
true.
it's so hard. But going back to your question, I think I always saw, different visibility of something is wrong here, and I was watching my own caseload and I would, go and investigate. I would present it to my supervisor and we wouldn't see things on the same wavelength. I'm like, but this is not abuse. Well, yes, it is. This is not abuse.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'm like, this family just recently, they haven't been here for a long time. They may not understand the ways of how the laws work here. And our job is to work with them and educate them, not, destroy the entire family, traumatizing them and separating them from their children.
Can you give us an example of that? Because what you're talking about there is so important. It's like miscommunication and there's something lost in the translation of someone's experience as an immigrant or as a minority versus like the CPS system that's supposed to help everyone. Yeah. Can you shed insight, kind of like you did in the beginning around poverty versus neglect?
Sure.
Right. What does that look like sometimes where it's lost in translation?
Absolutely. So one case that comes to my mind, this is still so vivid in my head. There was a young boy, I can't remember, he was probably like 8 or 9 years old. Okay. It was a case based in, I think it was Irving. So me and my colleague, we got called out. It came in as a P1. So if you want to know what a P1 is, it's priority 1. So that means that there's imminent danger to the child. So you have to see the child and notify the parents within a span of 24 hours. So you have a P1 case and then you have a P2 case where P2 is not as imminent and you have 72 hours from the time and date reported.
Okay.
And so we go out there and this child was in the nurse's office. This all happened at the school. And I was planning to leave half a day that day to go home and start my vacation. Nope, that didn't happen.
Not happening.
No, expect the unexpected. And he had all these marks on his back. Okay. So my colleague and I we're looking at this and everything. And we couldn't figure out, was it a handprint? Was he being shot with something? Because they were big. They were big circles. And after calling a few doctors and pediatrician, and to make this long story short, it was cupping.
Oh.
The kid was Cambodian.
Gotcha.
Okay. And police were at the school. They couldn't get a hold of the parents. They thought this child was being severely abused. And we took pictures.
But it was cupping.
It was cupping. So there's a lot of
very much lost in translation.
Yes, lost in translation. You got to read between the lines. And if there's one systemic failure of this agency, it's a lack of cultural competency and cultural sensitivity.
Yeah.
I did not see any of that. I had 3 or 4 days of cultural diversity training. Like, what kind of nonsense is this?
Yeah. Because when I would assume that when you'd approach a child who has these marks, like you'd first question, how did that come about? Where did it come from? And you would take into consideration like their lifestyle or their culture to some degree.
But we don't.
And you're saying you didn't see any of that.
We don't. And there was already a language barrier. This young boy's English was very broken, but still, you could have gotten somebody to help you. There's a lot of resources, that could help you with language. We can't just go in and assume something, Towards the end of my career at CPS, I was part of the quality and training program where we train new investigators to go out in the field and assess abuse and neglect. And my biggest advice to these investigators and my whole team, you got to go in with an open mind. Do not look at a case, a narrative, and just make assumptions. Keep your personal biases out of it. Keep your microaggressions out of it. You've got to go out with an open mind. And you are an investigator. You asked questions. You're not a police officer. You do not interrogate.
Right. That's so true.
Right? Most likely, the families that you investigate are going to be a little bit more tolerating of you if they know you come off with empathy, you come off with compassion, you want to work with them, but you can't just go and say, I'm going to take your children away if you don't talk to me. They have their rights. They have their civil rights.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying almost speaks to like this lack of cultural competence, like you said, but also like, God, like there's no understanding of the severity of what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the impact of what is about to happen, what can happen
Yeah.
when you put abuse in, when you take away kids from their parent. Like, we were saying in the beginning, is it is severe. Like it is life changing. It is lifelong. And so it's like you'd have to really understand that to treat it with the level of like sympathy, empathy, like tenderness it deserves, right?
It's really sad. Another, if you don't mind, I'd love to share this other case
Please.
with you. This is after I left CPS, and it was when we first started Color Me Safe. It was a Telugu family.
Okay.
And I don't think they were here in the United States that long, so there was still a little bit of a cultural disconnect.
Sure, yeah.
So, and growing up for me, with my grandparents and stuff, so the term garage is commonly referred to as shed.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put the car in the shed.
shed.
Okay?
Okay.
What does shed mean for us English speakers here in the United States?
Right.
It's a storage area,
Right,
correct?
right. Mm-hmm.
So this little first grader, I'm laughing because at the end of it, it's just kind of funny. This little girl, she got in trouble over the weekend, and she goes to school and she says, "My parents put me in the shed for time out."
Oh no.
All hell broke loose.
Abuse.
Abuse. Priority 1 case came out, and somehow they got my phone number. They called me immediately, told me exactly what happened. Misinterpretation. Got in the case, ripped it up a little bit, and I was like, this is what shed means.
To them and their culture.
Yeah. And the family kept the door open. They turned the light on. She had to stand in the corner for about 15 minutes in the garage with the door fully open. But again, you can't blame the child to explain that.
She's explaining it in the way she knows. Yeah.
Teacher should have asked a little bit more questions
before she called.
And maybe talked to the parents.
Yes.
So
yes. So wow. Okay. So being in the position you were, where you're up against all these people who are that you probably reported to in that moment, that don't understand, that don't maybe pause to ask the questions. Was it difficult to stand up for in these cases? Like, were you able to shift things around and stand up for the family?
Absolutely. We want to be that voice for them. We want to empower them with that knowledge. And when we sit on CPS interviews, they don't like us because we've taken our expertise, and I started Color Me Safe. So, I'm hearing these interviews. We'll stay quiet, and then all of a sudden we're just like, la 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 la. You didn't ask this. You didn't ask this. Why didn't you say this? Isn't it supposed to be this way? And some of these investigators, their eyes bug out. They're like, how do you know all this? Because we were there. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And, legislation here in the state of Texas, God, drives me crazy. It's a pendulum.
Yeah.
Every few years it's changing. Policies are changing. Procedures are changing.
What policies are most impact? Like, what should we know about when we're hearing that?
Just, what the parents' rights are. We've trained several therapists in the past couple of years, so we can empower our therapists and colleagues to empower their own clients, like how to work and navigate through a CPS case.
Okay.
So we try to update whoever wants to know and, train every 2 years or need to know.
Okay.
Exactly. And, we've worked with therapists where they have expressed, can we call and find out what's going on with the case? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
They're your client.
You're allowed to.
You're allowed to.
Okay.
I would encourage you to ask as many questions as possible. Yeah.
Wow. This is thrilling to say the least. So I guess it segues well into when you were here you were the investigator at CPS for a decade or more.
Yeah.
At some point you decided enough is enough. I'm going to create something to solve for this mismatch.
Yeah.
So is that what was the origination and the thought process behind Color Me Safe?
Sure. So, I was there for 10 and a half years. The last 2 years I was there, we were 10 of us got chosen to run this quality and training program. We were picked by the state of Texas.
Oh, wow.
We were all very tenure, master's level, PhD level workers at that time.
Okay.
And this was a very integral part of the department where we trained, right?
Yeah.
And they decided to dissolve this department.
Wow, I was just going to say they recognized how important that is.
Yeah, don't give them that much credit. Yeah. Nope.
They dissolved
They
it.
dissolved it. So
Yeah.
they told us, well, you can take a demotion or you can leave. And I'm like, wow,
Wow.
we gave you, looking at it from my selfish point of view, I gave you 10 and a half years.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears for
blood,
all
sweat, and
this.
tears.
Yeah.
And I tried to interview for other supervisory positions and I didn't get it. Nepotism was very notorious at that time. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So this thought had come to my mind. Earlier on in my career at CPS, I'd get numerous phone calls from the South Asian community.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a CPS case. I got your name from local, community center, the temple or whatnot. Can you help me? And
Wow. So you were very much like well known to.
I don't know if I was well known. I was active in the community, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, don't give me that much credit. But in addition to my own work, I was finding myself 2 to 3 hours a night, helping them navigate their own CPS cases. And this thought had come to my mind. I'm like, what if I started up my own consulting firm, helping families navigate through the complexities and the landscape of child protective services, and wanted to fill a void in the community and be a voice for the voiceless,
Yes.
So I ended up pitching it to another coworker of mine. He was on board. So I put my resignation in, and then he later did too. And then 2011, we did all this research to ensure that, hey, this is good. We were good to go. And there was no other organization in the state of Texas doing this.
Yeah.
And since inception of 2012, Color Me Safe was born. And we probably worked about 40 to 50 pro bono cases. And keep in mind, Farah, we're really tiny back then. And it came to the point where I was having to turn away families, families that really needed our help, but didn't have the economic resources to afford our services. Like something had to be done. And my co-founder had left a while back.
Okay.
So it was just me. And then I took on a couple of contractors and everything.
And you're saying you did a lot of pro bono and then
A lot of pro bono. So about 2019 hit her, and then the COVID happened, and we were turning away clients like left and right. It was hard to maintain, and my brother-in-law, he's like, you can do something else. And I'm like, what would you want me to do? He's like, why don't you add a nonprofit to the for-profit? I'm like, oh, I didn't know you can do that.
I didn't either. Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, is it legal? Yeah, it's legal. You just have to keep everything separated. Everything separated.
So it's like its own firm, and then it has a branch of its own for a nonprofit. Okay.
Yes. And through that, we apply for grants. We do the fundraising, and really wanted to, help folks who don't have the economic resources, right?
Yeah.
So 2022, we filed for our 501c3, got approved, launched, started working our cases in 2023, and we are slowly growing.
Wow.
So I'm probably coming to a point here in the next 2 years where I will dissolve the LLC and focus fully on the foundation, because the education aspect is so crucial.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's me. So, like, my heart, though, because the thing is, like, to think back, if you had opted out or changed directions when you saw that first 3-year-old that you said.
Yeah.
The fact that you didn't, the fact that you chose for whatever reason to stay here and to stay in this space. I mean, you see this, right? You have brought such unique value that would have not otherwise been available to the South Asian community.
It's I want to be a voice for them. We talk about, I don't like the word underdog. Mm-hmm. I'll just say the oppressed.
Yeah.
I want to be a voice for them.
Mm-hmm. And you are.
I want
the work
try.
you do.
I try.
Girl, I'm going to have to celebrate you louder.
I try.
It is so important. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, so that answers a lot for my Color Me Safe concept. Okay. What are some of the most, misunderstood aspects that you think as South Asians we should know when it comes to child abuse prevention or intervention? Yeah.
I think there's a variety of them, from just cultural barriers to language. Why a lot of, when it comes to domestic violence, why do a lot of survivors don't come forward? Well, you know what? They're scared. They don't trust the system.
Yeah.
They're scared of retribution.
Was it actually even legally or lawful? wrong back in the day, right? If there was domestic rape, let's say, in between a marriage, like that was a more recent law.
Right. And I think it's just not with the South Asian community. I think any immigrant community that comes here and has to face child protective services, they're not going to share a whole lot because they are scared and fearful of retribution. I mean, look what's happening in our world right now.
Yeah. So
you know, people are scared to come forward because if they share, what's going to happen? So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You know, so cultural barriers, parenting discipline styles, you know, things that are practiced back home, they're frowned upon here. You don't do that. You don't do that. You know, there's other alternative discipline methods, you know, and also just cultural aspects. You know, we were working with an organization in Houston and they work with survivors of domestic violence. And it seems like, from what I'm understanding, there's a lot of children in Houston from South Asian families that have been removed and placed into foster care. So, and some of these are recent immigrant families. So you have to really dig deep and understand the individual dynamics of the family. You know, just because a child is quiet and demure doesn't mean she's being abused. And you can't say, oh, she has mental health issues.
Right.
You know, we worked with a family not too long ago, a young family that was probably in this country for about a year. They had their 4-month-old separated from them, removed and placed into state's custody over a very simple incident. And mom and dad did everything right. Mom had she was just so heartbroken at the hospital to have what was happening and CPS coming out there. And she fainted and everything. And she was a bit erratic and stuff like that.
Right.
They accused her of having mental health issues.
She had a normal reaction to an abnormal situation.
Yeah, I think anyone would have reacted that way. And then they had gone to court. So mom wears sindoor on her head, which is very customary of a Hindu woman, you know, married Hindu woman. And CPS side accused dad of, look, judge, she's got blood in the middle of her head. He beats her.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not kidding. And we were hired at that time. So that their attorney reached out to me. I'm like, oh, I got you on this.
Don't you
worry. Print it out.
Yes.
Put a bunch of documentation together. This is the significance of sindoor. And then they presented it, and they were able to unite back together. And eventually they were reunited with their child, but it took 2 years to do.
Oh my God.
To the point where a forensic nurse had to get involved, forensic accountant had to get involved. There was all kinds of stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's traumatic.
It is traumatic, and it's so heartbreaking because those 2 years probably have such a profound impact on that family and that 4-month-year-old, right?
Exactly. Even faith. Religion, right? A Muslim family from India versus a Muslim family from Pakistan or Bangladesh. Traditions are different.
Yeah.
Traditions are different. Hindu family from northern India versus southern India.
Yeah.
Traditions, sub-traditions you have to look at. So as an investigator or just consultant, you have to ask questions and you have to learn.
Yeah.
And you got to do your own research.
Yeah.
Every family dynamic is going to be different. And when we provide our parenting strategies for our families, that's something we really, really focus on. We want to be super culturally sensitive to these families because it's important for their success as parents later on.
Right. And even if you don't know everything about anything, it's to your point, it's going in without biases, going in without making massive assumptions of abuse and assault without any conversation and thorough process, right?
Exactly. What happens when you make assumptions?
Yeah. Nothing good comes from that.
Nothing good comes from that. So we have to tread very carefully.
So what would you recommend, as people are listening to this and they're listening to you, knowing about the foundation is one thing, for parents and of immigrants, or just immigrants in general and children of immigrants, what would you suggest that they do for themselves to advocate in whatever way?
Read, learn, educate yourself, understand the laws, ask lots of questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Read, learn, ask questions. There's no
Yes.
such thing as a dumb
Knowledge
question.
is power.
Yes.
Knowledge is
yes.
power.
And to find you and to find the resources
Sure.
your organization provides, where do they go to look?
You can go to colormesafefoundation.org.
Okay.
We're all over Instagram. We're
I
all
do see
over
that. I love that.
Facebook. We put a lot of education out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there are resources they could go to.
Yes.
But your
Yes.
advice to them would be to understand the law.
Understand
period.
the law. Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Know your rights.
And know that there is help when you come into
Yeah.
a situation like this. You may not be directly involved, but if you know somebody that's going through this, we will definitely assess the case and see if this is something that we can take. And don't let the financial burden you have be extra stressful to you, because we can help you with that.
I love that
as well.
I love that. Such like a beacon of hope and resource.
Trying. We're growing a little every year. Yeah.
So I guess like for you in this space that's intense, it's hard. Even before we started, you shared that you're going through whatever you are. How in the world do you stay grounded? Do you stay hopeful? Do you stay motivated? Seeing what you see and knowing what you know.
I have really mastered switching it off.
Okay.
I've really mastered that.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do that. You know, I have a wonderful family who's extremely supportive. My husband is a gem of a man. I involve myself in a lot of different things. I dabble in a lot of different things. You know, I've been playing the piano since I was 6 years old. I teach on the side. I have my own studio.
Piano teacher, right?
Yes, as a piano teacher. Yes.
So creative. You are, like I was saying, you're so many things. And you write books.
I wrote one children's book. I used to blog.
One more than me, Gauthami. I don't know.
I write poetry.
Oh,
I
wow.
write. I'm trying to get back into writing. I've been dabbling into photography last few years as well.
Okay.
So just I like to try a little bit of everything. You know, I studied voice for a while. I love to volunteer. I taught Balavihar at Chinmaya Mission for several years. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for Chinmaya Mission at that time, I don't know what I would have done. It created this harmony and this balance in my life working at CPS.
Yeah. My goodness. So yes, you are so many more things.
It's
so
fun.
You stay grounded and afloat because you have this full life, be it family, be it support, or all these creative.
And music is a huge part of my life. You know, it's very personal to me. It's it's my own therapy. It's my sanctuary. It provides a level of clarity and balance, and it's my me time where you know music brings everybody together, right?
It does.
So
it does. I gotta hear you on the
I'd
piano.
love to play. I know you love like Bollywood music and stuff.
Bollywood. I love dancing.
Yeah, I know. You're a great dancer, by the way.
I try. No, that's crazy. Okay, so I guess. Do you use music and storytelling in that way? I wonder if it ever dabbles in. So like all these experiences of just human suffering and life and the systemic change you're trying to create and are creating, does it dabble into like the type of music you do, the type of story you tell? Like how does it show up there? Or does it not? Is it completely separated?
I think it doesn't directly show up. I think it's indirect in a lot of ways, and it's more on it helps me personally and professionally because it takes me away from all of what I'm seeing, you know? So it creates that balance.
So you don't really actually like use it to go into it. It's really to step away.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, when I teach kids, you know, I'm watching and observing and I pick up on certain things as I'm teaching and I'm like, ooh, need to talk to your parents about that. What's going on here? You can't turn that part off yet.
So the book that you did write for children, what was the intention behind that?
It was for fun.
And what was it called?
It was Ganesha goes to first grade. So I was using
Say that one more time,
Ganesha goes to the first grade. So Ganesha, he's the god of remover of obstacles, right? In our Hindu culture.
Wow, yeah.
And I was using the symbolism of Lord Ganesha to teach children a moral. And it was the most simplest moral about don't take things that are not yours. You can share, but you have to ask.
As long as you ask and share. Okay.
Exactly.
So the book goes through an example of that?
That the book is an example of that. I should have brought you on.
Yeah, please.
I will give you one.
I see you on Instagram with these there's stuffed animals and books around. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. So
What is that?
This is our child's play, right? So for Color Me Safe Foundation, Kulfi, the kindness bear, is our mascot. So we used Kulfi as a catalyst.
The big bear that
it's a little bear.
It's a little bear.
It's a little bear.
Okay.
And we created a coloring book for children to teach kindness and to teach empathy because it's important, especially at that age. So Kulfi is making her way around the world right now.
I was like, I know that's Gauthami, and that is a teddy bear, and she's reading. Like, maybe I should pause to read the caption. It was really cute, though.
Thank you. Like, okay, she's a little weird.
No. So, okay, wait. How does the coloring book part of this convey the message of empathy and kindness and being kind?
They're all inspirational messages
in the book.
In the book.
Oh,
in
I
the
love
book.
that. And then the coloring is like the
coloring.
part. Okay.
Yeah, the coloring is a tactical part. And just something fun. Child welfare is not just about abuse and neglect. It's the whole of a child. It's mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we want to focus on as a foundation is to hit all of this. Prevention, intervention.
Yeah. And I think, when I reflect on that in my own life, it's hard because so many times, being South Asian, we want to blame our parents for the way we turned up. Well,
I get you. Yeah.
It's because you did X, Y, and Z, and you didn't do X, Y, and Z, and da-da-da-da. And then sometimes I have to remind myself, man, they didn't have the resources at the time, the education at the time. They obviously are immigrants as well. So they moved into this place, knowing nothing with little things. It doesn't, obviously I'm not trying to excuse everything and anything, but all I'm trying to say is there is this lack of resources that they had. And that takes, taking that into consideration and then their humanism into consideration really changes things.
Yeah. And it's our job as children is to understand what our own parents had to go through, immigrating to a new place, a new life, and then with your children. So I think it's really crucial that we meet them halfway and try to understand their journey.
Yeah. And I love that because I kid you not, today when I share with my mom, therapeutic concepts or just things that I'm learning and they're changing me or I'll maybe call out something that is a pattern in our family that I think could be better or healthier. Yeah. You would be surprised at how receptive she is, with the information, being just exposed to it and understood with kindness, with empathy. Yeah. Then you see her taking that information and actually understand it. It resonates. She uses it, So it's not that she's it's not that our parents are bad people without those things. It's but imagine if they had the information, if they had the tools,
100%.
They would show up so differently.
Absolutely.
We all would.
We all would. And like I said, it's important to understand where they're coming from. Like you, my mom went through her own journey, she evolved.
Yeah.
Big time. My dad was already there. My mom was a little bit more rigid because she's just so stuck in her ways. Come from a very traditional South Indian family, so very, very stuck in her ways. So I think raising 3 girls really broke that mold.
I bet.
Yes. Sorry, we're a bunch of rascals.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So towards the end of this, I guess I did ask you what keeps you grounded, what gives you hope, right? I guess also because you wear so many hats, you've done all the CPS work, you have Color Me Safe. I can't even list all the accomplishments by now, but you have this creative aspect and angle to you too.
Yeah.
What do you think if somebody were to ask you what gives you purpose, or how would you define what your current purpose in this phase of life is? Gosh. What would that be for you?
Oh, such a wonderful question. I think right now my deepest purpose is it's quite personal, and it's to be a mom.
Oh, yeah.
It's to be a mom. I'm just going to be really candid here.
Jeez.
I have been going through IVF for about 3 years now, almost 3 years.
Oh wow!
And I suffered 2 miscarriages and numerous procedures and unsuccessful transfers. I just got bad news a couple of days, and I think my journey's coming to an end.
Oh, Gauthami. Yeah.
So I think this is probably one of the most heartbreaking yet humble chapters
Yes.
in my life, but the desire to be a mom is still very, very
Oh my
present.
goodness. Yes.
And I think, all of these things we talk about, my different roles and stuff,
Yeah.
I think one common denominator they all share is everything is rooted in love and nurturance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm not going to give up hope.
Yeah. Oh,
I know
goodness.
I so want to be a mom, whatever way that may be.
Absolutely. And I hope
So,
that for you. And thank
thank
you
you.
for sharing that so vulnerably. And I have to say this, like everything you've done and all the work that you've touched, you just said it exudes love and nurturing, which is such a maternal emotion. But also, Gauthami, you've, through your work indirectly, directly with the children, you have been a mom, in such an interesting, different way. And I know it will never be the same and it may not replace one or the other, but I hope you see that, like, man, you have mothered indirectly so many children in such different ways.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
I'm a big kid.
Yeah,
I'm a big kid.
I can get that. Yeah, I get that energy
my
from you.
husband calls me a cartoon character. So yeah.
So there's that too.
There's that too.
Okay. So as it comes to an end or wherever it goes next, like it sounds like what you're saying is you're reflecting on that right now.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
That's the purpose. Yeah.
That's my purpose.
Yep. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
I can't even continue. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll ask you this too.
Yeah.
What's something you've healed or unlearned in your own life that allows you to show up just as full as you did today here and all the places you do?
This is a work in progress for me. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The idea of being able to say no. I have no problem showing up for others. I have a problem showing up for myself.
Yeah.
I wish people would, rather than expecting my energy, respecting my energy.
Oof.
I'm
yes, ma'am.
I'm like, my mom used to call me a remote control growing up because I would never say no to anything. Do this, Gauthami. Can you do this, Gauthami? Can you do this, Gauthami? Whatever. I will always be there and I will never say no, but it's not reciprocated. Not that I was expecting anything. You know what I do expect when my friends call? How are you? Those 3 words have so much power in it. But now it's becoming, what can you do? Hey, I've got this going. Can you show up? Can you do this?
They expect it.
They expect it.
Yeah.
And
it's transactional.
It's transactional and it's not as reciprocated as I would like to
Absolutely.
be. So I'm trying to respect my own energy and who I am as a person and my worth.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be so accessible. Oh, it's so damn hard to do.
I was just going to ask, how is that going for you?
It's so damn hard to do. Like if someone sends me a text I'll respond right away. They want me to do something, I will do my best to show up for you. But I'm losing myself in the process of this and I'm not honoring who I am.
Right, right.
And I'm trying to slowly learn this.
Yes, that's a hard one because it's ingrained and I think it's modeled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And also we somewhere tie our sense of worth into what we could do.
Right.
Right.
And you question yourself, okay, if I don't do this, am I a bad person?
Yeah.
Am I not a good friend?
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't want to be anyone's doorstop either.
Right.
Yeah.
And also I truly believe when our cup is full, everything we give from that point on, not before that, right? When everything we get from that point on is the most authentic, is the most true, and will make the biggest difference, right? When we're giving from a place of lack and scarcity and fear,
right?
It changes the tone of what that is, right?
Exactly.
I think that's such a special project that you're working on.
No.
You should have said no to the podcast. No, Farah.
Wow, that felt good. No.
I mean, honestly, once you start saying it, it feels really freaking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
no. Just kidding. Try saying no in 10 different. No. Hell no.
Hell no. Oh, and also, I think your most honest friends and honest connections will weather that storm, that change in dynamic, that change in friendship.
Exactly, because friendship is about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, exactly. And as we evolve, we change, right? And we expect, like, I expect my friends to change, and I cheerlead that. And if it's to say no so that they feel more rested, whole, and that they feel like this, isn't transactional and it fills their cup, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I encourage it.
100%.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thank you. Work in progress.
Okay. As we end, I usually do this rapid fire when I have time.
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't know if you saw, but I'll just ask you a few of these
It's been a while
questions.
since I saw.
Okay,
so,
great.
Okay.
So it can be super authentic.
Yes.
And you know what you could say? No.
No. I want to answer that.
Yeah, you just, I don't really want to talk about that right now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, goodness.
Moving on.
Okay.
Okay. What's one thing that you do every day or every other day to prioritize your mental well-being, your wellness?
I need 1 hour. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Whether it's me playing the piano, whether it's me reading, doing nonsense stuff.
So everyone else needs to leave you alone.
Just leave me alone.
Okay.
Just 1 hour. I just need 1 hour. During that hour, I might watch, old 80s sitcoms. I'm the queen of reruns. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1 hour leave me alone every single day.
Every single day.
I love that.
Every single day.
Okay. What's one societal norm you wish people would challenge more often?
Oh, God, that's such a great question. Societal norm. Hiding your pain for the sake of saving face. Do I get snaps for this?
I was doing this, but we can do this.
Yes.
Okay, so hiding your pain for the sake of saving face.
And
almost like it's a sign of weakness.
Yes. Being South Asian, and I'm saying this, and it might be controversial. People may not like what I'm about to say. Through observation, interactions, and whatnot, our South Asian community focuses more on reputation versus reality.
So true.
Right?
Yes.
Why, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling vulnerable, why the hell do I need to hide that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, because you will be weak. You may not get married.
Yeah. What will people say?
What will people say?
What will they think?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let them think whatever they want to think, because you know what? It's your life. And again, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're going to be judged either way.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And I think that really bothers me. Like, because it pushes you so much away from your authentic self, because you're always performing. That's right. You always have a mask on. And I took that mask off a long time ago, but
good for you. Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It is hard. And if you don't mind, I'd love to, there's one more that I would love to share.
Yes.
Respecting elders means tolerating toxicity.
Wow. I have not heard that one here before.
Yeah.
Can you please say more? Yeah.
Age doesn't always equal wisdom.
So true.
Right? And yeah, they're your elders. You respect them. But you know what? There's got to be some common ground here. Yeah. I respect you. You respect me too. It's got to go both ways.
Yeah.
So
do you say that because you see people, I guess, like holding elders to a certain expectation?
I do.
Of like more knowledge or more whatever it is.
That's just our culture. Yeah. I've experienced it, right? Yeah. And it's like you come to a point where enough is enough. Yeah. I don't deserve to hear this. I didn't do anything to you. You know, how you got to respect, you got to earn respect, right? Yeah. If you talk like this to me, how am I going to respect you?
Yeah. I think, and it's like, you don't have to agree with someone, see eye to eye with someone to give them respect.
That's right.
And to be respectful, right? Because we are all truly on our own journeys, right? Exactly. And if we were born earlier in life and we didn't have the resources and we're doing the best we can, then we're doing the best we can.
That's right.
We're still human. We still deserve respect. I think that's a really good reminder, because even maybe sometimes I can get lost with parents, families, like extended, and think like, oh, like I'm not going to deal with that because like that's, they don't understand, they don't get it. I don't know if it's ever to the point of being disrespectful, but I think it's something that's, important to be mindful about.
Right. Yeah. And if we don't speak up, what's going to change?
Right.
If we don't speak up. Right.
Always claps and snaps for you. Okay. Last one. What's your guilty pleasure for when you need to escape reality for a bit?
Oh, there's a lot.
And maybe you're not guilty about it. I don't know if it's guilty. is the right
No, I'm
word.
not guilty. I love to travel.
Okay.
I love to watch movies.
Yeah.
And I can sit and watch Friends
I love
all
Friends.
damn day.
Yeah.
I will go back to old 70s show, Brady Bunch. Don't laugh. I love Lucy.
I'm not joking.
It just
Yeah.
makes me laugh.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
brings back
Yeah.
the good stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Guilty pleasure. So do you do it like for hours on end?
Oh, I can.
You can, yeah.
Oh, I can. And I'll laugh and I'll repeat the dialogue. Husband's like, you were so weird.
I love that. Okay, cool. All right, well, go with me. Is there anything we didn't cover that you want to use the platform to say, like just in your own voice, in your own way?
No, I just appreciate you giving me this
Yeah.
opportunity to speak my truth.
Of course.
Yeah.
I appreciate you agreeing to come and
you.
speak
No.
your truth. You could have. Okay, we're going to call it a day. Gauthami's brought us food, so we're going to go eat that.